as the year is winding down, I think now is the time to start reflecting on the year that we have just had. In 2024, in professional wrestling, was a phenomenal year, particularly for WWE. Just absolutely out of this world. Like, truly could be argued, I think, one of the best years of WWE ever. But, excuse me, beer burp. That is an argument for another day. Today, I want to ask you, who is the best wrestler of 2024? And there's a lot of names that deserve some recognition. And so I'm going to give you my personal nominees. And I'm going to give you my winner. And you tell me if you agree, disagree, if you think I'm a dipshit, whatever. So my first nominee here for Best Wrestler of 2024, might surprise some people out there, Dominic Mysterio. I think that he deserves some credit, man. Like, as far as being able to get that heat as a heel, even if it is a bit tongue-in-cheek, you know, we kind of have fun booing him. But regardless, the reactions are there. The ability to go from a heel to a super heel at SummerSlam. I've never seen a heel turn heel. That was amazing. I just think that his consistency, despite the fact that people might call him, a Nepo baby, and despite the fact that obviously physically he doesn't match up with a lot of the talent on the roster, he makes it fucking work, dude. He makes it fucking work. He's hilarious. He's engaging. I think Dom has had a phenomenal year, and I think he has to be in the conversation. Liv Morgan. If we're talking about Dominic Mysterio, you can't talk about Dom without Liv. And I think that, yes, Rhea is huge, like one of the biggest stars of the women's division right now. However, through injury, it just wasn't necessarily the biggest year for Rhea. Like, there was some time off of TV, and it's tough because, like, the first half of 2024 was definitely the year of Rhea Ripley. But Liv Morgan has taken the ball and fucking ran with it, dude. And, like, love her or hate her, like, she could be fucking annoying as shit.
Such
but
an asshole, but
that's her fucking job, man. Like, honestly, like, so there's a separate conversation that we will have at a later date, which is, like, the most improved, the biggest, like, up-and-comer, whatever, however you want to put it, of 2024. And to me, that, spoiler alert, might definitely be Liv Morgan. Because to go from kind of just mid-card no man's land to now one of the premier stars of the women's division and just WWE in general, she's had a phenomenal year. And so if we're talking Wrestler of the Year, you can't have that conversation without at least mentioning Liv Morgan.
Fair.
I'm going to throw a name into the mix that some people might think is a bit controversial, but I don't give a fuck. Solo Sikoa.
No.
I don't care, man.
No.
Let me at least give you the case.
I know where you're coming from, but no.
I'm going to make my fucking case. Alright?
Go ahead, but no.
He started the year as Roman Reigns' lackey.
Mm-hmm.
As his kind of hitman.
Mm-hmm.
Never even said anything.
Mm-hmm.
He just walked around and looked menacing.
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania happens. Roman Reigns disappears. Solo Sikoa steps into the limelight, and from day one, I acknowledged Solo. I still acknowledge my OTC, but I'm a fucking fence sitter. I can do what I want. I also acknowledge Solo Sikoa.
You sit on the fence, you like sitting on there?
In this particular instance, yes.
Yeah. You like sitting on it?
I do, yes. Fuck you, yes.
Hmm.
And my thing is this. When I first started getting back into wrestling, which was like early 2023, after taking quite a hiatus, Roman Reigns obviously is one of the main attractions in the company, but this Solo Sikoa guy who's kind of the next in line, but is so loyal to Roman that he won't stab him in the back, but he knows he's next in line. Like, that was really intriguing to me, and I was excited to see Solo step into that role.
I love you, Solo.
I do love Solo. And as soon as he started stepping into that role and talking his shit like he was the tribal chief, honestly, I was embracing it. I was acknowledging Solo Sikoa as he was bringing in Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, and then, of course, the shining star Jacob Fatu into the mix. I have acknowledged him throughout this entire time. And then he starts adding in the kind of, like, comedy stuff into the mix that he's been doing for the last couple
his
months.
Little personality that he has and shit.
And it's gone all the way up to the next level. And I just, dude, this is the year of Solo Sikoa stepping out of Roman Reigns' shadow. And it hasn't always been perfect. The fans haven't always embraced it at large.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw the vision from day one.
Mm-hmm.
And to see now that it's finally fully coming to fruition. And yes, I do expect him to lose this match coming up at the Raw on Netflix on January 6th, the debut show. But the damage has been done. Like, Solo has already established himself at this next level. And so even if he loses the status as tribal chief and loses the Ulafala, he's still Solo Sikoa and not the same Solo that started the year of 2024.
Yeah.
And so to me, I think he deserves some acknowledgement for that. Is he going to win the award necessarily? Probably not. But he's a nominee. These are my nominees. And he's got to be nominated.
I feel it.
Drew McIntyre.
Up and down all year, I would say.
Up and down, however, I think, it's one of those ones where we got to look at the full picture from start to finish. Start of 2024, heavy rumors that Drew McIntyre will be leaving the company. Heavy rumors that Drew McIntyre is all elite. It felt like Drew was not satisfied with the creative for his character and was kind of just stuck in this no man's land as a babyface where he just runs around, beats up the mid-card heels, and then when it comes to the big match, he comes up short. And that's not where anyone wants to be. But he, rather than leaving the company and taking that route, which is fine, I respect that as well, but he stuck around and reinvented the character. And it has taken him to new heights that I don't think anyone saw possible for Drew McIntyre a year ago, where he's like firmly cemented in the world title picture, is firmly in the main event scene, and is one of the most intriguing characters in WWE right now because of the simple fact that despite the fact that he is a heel traditionally, he has a lot of merit to his arguments, and he's in this gray area. And he has become one of the most just overall intriguing characters in WWE, in my opinion. And like I said, when you look at that full picture from start to finish, to me, that's something that deserves a lot of recognition. And then on top of that, obviously Punk played a huge part in it. But that feud, Drew and Punk, was just one of the best wrestling feuds of all time. I know it's early to make that call, but I think even years down the line we'll be reminiscing on this with very fond memories. Drew McIntyre deserves a lot of credit for that. The reason why CM Punk won't appear on this list, spoiler alert, he won't, is because I think that 2025 is an even bigger year for CM Punk. I think that this was the first year of the comeback. Injuries held back a lot of what we were really going to be able to see. And so for me personally, not through any fault of his own, but it just fell a tad bit short because of the injuries. And so we got to look at, I think, 2025.
Even after the matches he had this past year.
Yeah. Because I think it meant much more for Drew's career than it did for Punk's. I think Punk is about to go on this legendary feud with Seth that he's about to have. I think he might end up feuding with who knows, maybe even Roman this year. Like, I think 2025, this upcoming year, will be, hopefully, as a Punk fan, will be much bigger for CM Punk. And so that's why I'm holding him off of this list for now. But to me, when you look at that feud, like I said, for Punk, this gets added to the list of all of the legendary feuds that CM Punk has had throughout a legendary career. To me, this feud redefined how WWE fans look at Drew McIntyre. And so it's just so much bigger for Drew's career to be able to elevate himself into the true main event scene and a borderline legendary status already. I think if he continues on this path of cooking up these amazing feuds, he will be seen as a legend, and it will have truly started this legendary run at the Punk feud. And so, to me, again, as a nominee for Wrestler of the Year, I think Drew McIntyre has to be in the conversation at least.
Winning, but not, yeah, sure.
This is another one that has to be in the conversation. Braun Breaker. I hear you. You gotta look at the idea again, start to finish. Starts the year as an NXT superstar. That's a big deal. Huge deal. Mm-hmm. It's one of the biggest promotions on the planet. Mm-hmm. But it's not the big show. Mm-hmm. Ends the year as a dominant Intercontinental Champion that's been through feuds with some of the biggest talent in the company and is seen in many fans' eyes, including this guy right here, as a future Hall of Famer, future WrestleMania main eventer.
No fair.
He has elevated himself into that level of being seen as like next up. So to me, that's another one of those huge transitions where you went from a promising young talent to like a legitimate talent. You don't even need to say promising anymore. Like, he just is on that path to greatness now. Mm-hmm. There's no doubting it. So to me, Braun Breaker deserves to be shouted out in that conversation. That's just me personally. And maybe I do mark out a bit for Braun Breaker. So fuck you, whatever. Whatever.
Yeah.
I do think Rhea Ripley, like, you know, again, injuries kind of
fucked her over.
Held it back a bit, but fuck, dude, like, she's one of the most over wrestlers in the entire company. And at the start of the year, that was true, but, like, it's really solidified itself throughout the year that she is, like, arguably the premier talent in the women's division. Like, she is that legit. And so I do think that if we're having that conversation, you gotta throw Rhea Ripley in there. One of her potential, I don't know how to phrase this, someone that she's had some interesting interactions with, I think is also somebody you got to put on this list. Jey Uso. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, fuck, the guy has gotten so over with the yeet. I honestly can't believe it's worked this well. Because personally, I was not super intrigued by it at first, because I thought he was doing such great work. The whole, it's gonna be tribal combat, Oos. Him and Roman Reigns, that whole feud they had leading up into the SummerSlam, I think 2023, I believe, that was just so great. And everything, I felt like the Jey Uso character was at its peak leading up to that match and just after that match. And then he disappears for a bit off of TV and comes back a few weeks later, however long it was, with the Yeet gimmick. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I just feel like the character has lacked a bit of depth since then, because you have to shoehorn the Yeet into everything. But it is fun. And so I get, like, I'm in two minds about it. Like, part of me is frustrated that the character has lost its depth to an extent, and part of me appreciates that we just get to turn up and go yeet. You know? It is what it is. But overall, if you look at the year he's had, I do think Jey Uso has to be in the conversation for Wrestler of the Year, because he went from, again, A similar kind of case to Solo Sikoa, where he was one of Roman Reigns' lackeys, essentially, and goes to being a true main eventer in his own right, which he really has become main event Jey Uso. That was kind of a meme for a bit, but I think it's solidified at this point. Like, if you just look at Survivor Series, I think that tells the whole story. Look at the entrances and how he comes out last after CM Punk, after Roman Reigns. Like, that's a big fucking deal. And so I do think that that entrance sequencing in and of itself speaks to the year that Jey Uso has had, because that would not have happened at the start of 2024. Not even close. So yeah, I definitely think Jey Uso has to be in the conversation. I think there's one more guy I gotta add in here. And this is my winner. The winner for Eli's Wrestler of the Year in 2024. All of the people I have mentioned have very valid cases and are very exciting in their own right and have done great work in their own right. But it's gotta be Cody Rhodes, man.
Finish the story.
I think that people are, like, recency bias, forgetting just how significant that was. The whole "we want Cody" movement is what started off the year.
It was literally supposed to be The Rock and Roman, bro. That's what people forget.
It was supposed to be a totally different match. And the pure momentum of Cody Rhodes shifted the direction of WrestleMania, pushed The Rock out of it. And he ends up finishing the story in the most beautiful way possible, with all of these amazing returns and this just purely, to use an overused word in the wrestling community, a purely cinematic match.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, maybe I'll give people, the haters out there, that the initial title run for the first few months didn't have the most steam. But do you know why? Because everyone knew Cody Rhodes wasn't dropping that fucking belt. And so what do you expect? It's almost an unbookable circumstance, because you know, with the significance of how big that title win is, there's almost no way to make it feel like he's legitimately at risk of losing it. With the threat of Roman looming in the distance, The Rock, all these big matches, you know that, like, AJ Styles at Backlash ain't taking that shit. But that match was fucking awesome. The crowd was amazing. The atmosphere, like, people have acted like this title run has been trash, and it's like, bro.
So what's up with the hate then? Why is this getting?
It's just people just hate on Cody just to hate, because it is what it is. People are always gonna hate on the biggest.
People were complaining on Roman that he doesn't show up, he doesn't do this. Cody's trying to do. Actually show up in shows, get promos.
And now people are saying it's boring because he wrestles too often. And so you can't please everybody. That's what you gotta understand, is that you are never gonna be able to make everyone happy.
The Cody hate's strong, though.
Because people hate when there's something to hate on. Like, that's just the nature of wrestling fans. I truly don't feel like it's justified, though. And can I tell you what proves it for me? This feud that he's in right now with Kevin Owens. Because if you want to say that all of these previous feuds have been boring because you know that he's going to win, okay, I'll let you have that. But this Kevin Owens shit, I went into Saturday night's main event not 100% sure Cody was going to win. Because it has been that strong of a story that has been built so far between KO and Cody. And we're still only in, like, the beginning kind of chapters of it, with the way that everything has developed after Saturday night's main event and everything since then with Kevin Owens. It seems like we're in the kind of beginning, maybe middle stages of an amazing, amazing feud and storyline between two absolute Hall of Fame top tier wrestlers. If you aren't enjoying Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens right now, I think you just don't maybe like wrestling that much, or you just don't like Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a phenomenal story that's being told and a phenomenal feud that's playing out. I don't understand what people have against it. I don't understand what people have against Cody Rhodes. And can I tell you what the thing is? I am a self-proclaimed, I will admit, Cody Mark. You can see the action figures here. I love the motherfucker, right?
Yo.
So with that bias stated, let me just say this real quick. The story that everyone likes to reference, the whole thing that was finished, the idea of the American Dream, the original, winning the match, but not winning the belt back in his day during his run, and never getting the chance to win the belt again, never actually hoisting up the WWF at the time championship.
Yo.
And that really meaning something to a young Cody Rhodes is a story that I believe. I can understand how a son can look at his dad and might not understand all the inner workings of the wrestling industry and think it's kind of fucked up that we have this picture in our living room of you holding the belt, but it wasn't actually yours. And as Cody aged and gets into the wrestling industry, I can understand how that's something that rubs you the wrong way and you want to, I could go on a whole rant for like probably 10 minutes about the story. I'll save that for the people. The point I'm trying to make here is the story was founded upon very real circumstances. Things that aren't necessarily to do with like the wrestling booking story shit that we analyze here on L Show. It's more of like the circumstances around the whole wrestling circus that we all love. And how this dude Dusty Rhodes ended up not getting that opportunity at the top of the top. And Cody wanting to fulfill that. Like, and then of course him having to go out on his own. Like, dude, it's literally a story that you can make the argument is like about 50, 40 years in the making. And for it to fully come to fruition, I mean, you just, dude, like, I honestly think that WrestleMania 40 main event, night 2, will go down as potentially the greatest wrestling match of all time. And it scares me because it's like how I felt after I watched, like, Avengers Endgame or something like that, where it's like,
movie ever and shit.
Not that this is the best movie ever, because, like, I prefer shit like The Godfather, other shit. But my point is that, like, for Marvel specifically, it will never be able to hit this hard again
for, like, that
because of everything that built up. Like, there was over a decade that built up to this. There's no way we can do that again. Like, it was so organic, it was so natural, so much circumstances just happened to play out in the way that we got to that point. And it's like kind of when Cody finished the story, and it's like, dude, there's just no way we're going to find some wrestler from the 80s who got fucked over by Vince out of spite, and their son is going to happen to be a world-class talent who also got fucked over by the next generation of creative, maybe not out of spite, but just out of poor creative, ends up going out on his own. By his own decision, not because of a wrestling storyline. He just actually quit his job because he's pissed off, takes that risk, goes and makes himself into a star on the indies, creates his own wrestling promotion. That wrestling promotion becomes a competitor to WWE to the extent where it's such a threat that they try to sign that top talent, which left the fucking company in the first place. Like, all of this shit that happened is so fucking ridiculous. For anyone to tell me that anyone besides Cody Rhodes isn't the wrestler of the year, I would have to tell you, you sir are wrong. Or you ma'am are wrong. Because, dude, the story is just so fucking... It's so real that it feels like it's fake. It's too much. So much played into this shit. Like, Tony Khan is a part of the reason that happened. That shouldn't even...
100%, yep.
What? What? I don't... Nah, man. So if you think anyone else is Wrestler of the Year, I'm happy to hear your case, but brother, I don't think you're right.
You're in full fanboy
I might beat your ass, yeah.
Or not, bro. 100% agree with you. That will finish the story, bro. Everybody was going crazy watching that shit. Fucking WrestleMania, bro. In fucking Philly, bro.
Bro, Taker?
John Cena?
It all... Come on. Come on. Is there anyone that I didn't have on the list that you think at least deserves a shout?
No, I'm talking about mine right now.
So that's it? Cody Rhodes, Wrestler of the Year?
Cody
Rhodes. Cody Rhodes. Where was that? It was Clash at the Castle?
Mm-hmm.
God, that's such a sick chant. I can't tell you. It's kind of embarrassing how often sometimes I'm just walking around the house. I might be folding some laundry or cooking some food.
Cody.
And I'm like, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes. That shit was fire, man.
Cody.
We've had a great year. And they want to talk down on my GOAT. Get the fuck. I don't know if he's my GOAT, because this is my GOAT.
You'll be his throat GOAT, though.
But he's the... Ooh. No disrespect. I know he's married and all that. And no disrespect, because I know I'm in a relationship and all that. But that's Cody Rhodes.
Oh,
So if he asked... Like, I wouldn't offer, again, like, out of respect to my relationship and his relationship.
Yeah, you a few shots in with some Wheatley vodka. Yeah.
Wheatley, so good, I drink Wheatley. If he gets me on the Cody bus, bro, the Nightmare bus.
He promises you a fucking nightmare interview, bro.
That's
This
is crazy. This is crazy. But, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Suck him off, you fucking get a fucking interview, man.
Don't fucking... No. I know. Nah, because you said... Nah, because you said it like that, nah. Bro says suck him off. Damn, no.
This makes her mad, bro.
No, man. We would do it romantically. I'm not going to suck him off.
You said you would do it romantically. You're crazy, man.
So that's my Wrestler of the Year.
Oh, man.
Oh, fuck. Dude, that was wild.